Food for Life is about understanding what's really behind the food we eat. With that in mind, let me ask you a question. Wouldn't you like to have all of your food or most of your food come from a local farm? Well, that's what a CSA or a farm share is. Jen Montgomery is going to help us understand how we do that, how a family does it, how an individual does it. Today, CSAs and farm shares on David Allender's Food for Life. I'm here with Jen Montgomery, who has been farming internationally for over 13 years. And Jen has farmed in New Zealand, she's farmed in Europe, and also in the United States here in Pennsylvania. And she's been farming organically. She's been running CSAs, or farm share cooperatives, in all those different places. So Jen is, I think, really well equipped to help us understand how to use a farm share and to understand whether or not it's something we can bring into our homes and our families. Jen, the first question I have is, what is a CSA or a farm share? How does that work?
A CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture, and it's based on the theory that buying locally and supporting the farm is you become a member of the farm. You're a share member of the farm, and you share in the bounty of the farm. You get a portion of whatever we produce.
How do shares work? How does all that come together?
Well, typically they join our farm in the spring, and they purchase a share. We send out a newsletter, and they join our shares. And most CSAs in this area last 20 to 25 weeks long, and so they sign up for a full commitment of a growing season, and they get produce from us each week.
So for your farm, a share is enough to feed how many people?
Usually a family of 4, particularly people who aren't vegetarians. Vegetarians should probably get a plus share.
I think a lot of people are a little bit afraid of the idea of how many vegetables and the diversity of the vegetables, and they're afraid they're going to end up rotting in the refrigerator. How would you recommend someone start off if they're concerned about that?
I think if this is your first time getting a CSA and eating local produce, it's good to start with a half share. It's a good experience it's a good opportunity to try new food and try something new. And if you find that you like it the next year, or even sometimes during that year, you can up to a regular share.
Okay,
Come
so
every week.
Start off a little bit slow, figure out what you can handle, and learn how to handle it. So when you come here to the farm to pick up your food, you go to the chalkboard.
We have a check-in system. You come in, check off your name, check in at the counter.
Okay.
And then come back to the board, pick up all your items. We have a trade table or an extras table. If there's something you don't like, you can put it on the extras table. And
that's what this is right here that we have.
And other people who might like that item can load up on it.
Okay.
And then we have other value-added items here for sale. We sell local bread, honey, soap, chicken. We kind of try to make this a grocery store experience, so they're not just coming here for produce, but coming here for what they need in their kitchen.
So you come in and you gather all your items up, and you have to take it home, and you've got this big bag of vegetables that you want to make sure don't rot and that you actually use them. What do you do next?
Well, the first step is to take it all out, wash it, pull out any items that aren't edible. Maybe there's yellow leaves or something like that. Clean it up, wash it, put it in a bag. A lot of greens store best in a bag with a paper towel. Then just put them in your refrigerator, and that way you'll be more likely to use them right away, rather than thinking, oh, I'm too tired to wash my vegetables, I'm just going to go get pizza.
So the trick you're saying is when you get it home, get it cleaned and prepared immediately.
And make it easy to cook with later in the week. You can do other things, like if you get peppers, you can cut them up, cut the seeds out, and just chop your peppers and make them easier to throw on a salad later in the middle of the week.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And another thing that you can do is make stock, make vegetable stock. While you're cleaning all of your vegetables, just throw the parts that aren't edible into a pot of water and you'll make vegetable stock. Boil it while you're cleaning all of your vegetables. And then the way that I do it is pour it into a mason jar and freeze it.
So what you're saying here is that as you develop these habits, you end up using more and getting better at using these vegetables. Tell us about that.
Well, you can always go online and just look for information on whatever vegetables you got. Look up recipes online. A lot of CSAs give out newsletters and provide recipes in their newsletters about what's available that week.
Oh, that's convenient. So the CSA, a good one, is going to send you home with recipes related to what you've picked up that week.
Yeah, yeah. And usually they're good, tried and true.
Sure.
So it's a good way to start.
So
and don't get intimidated by the fact that you don't have the exact ingredients. Maybe they call for spinach, but you could use an Asian green instead.
Just move it around.
Be adventurous.
A little bit flexible with your vegetables.
Right.
It's important to be flexible. So Jen, what do? You have a family with kids, and let's face it, kids don't like vegetables, and we know more and more people are trying to buy healthy vegetables from their local farms, do the CSA thing, but their kids are saying, I want chicken fingers. What do you do?
Well, my tip is to hide it. A lot of times you can chop up greens, cook them into something, and just hide it in there before they even know it. I think lasagna is one of the easiest things to cook up and hide your greens in.
It's good, lots of hiding places in a lasagna.
Exactly. It's always easy to cook things and freeze them. You can cook your greens, and that's called blanching. You blanch your greens and then freeze them and pull them out in the wintertime. If you belong to a CSA that gives you too much kale, then don't say it's too much kale, just freeze it, because you can always use it in the wintertime.
Right.
And it's nice to get those fresh, frozen local greens in the wintertime when you can't get them anywhere else.
Some people you were mentioning will complain that they're getting too much kale or too many tomatoes. But that's really not the case.
Yeah.
Really, the issue when you hear that is they don't know what to do with the kale or the tomatoes. But they're in season, right?
By eating in season, you're eating locally. You're getting whatever is grown that time of year, and it's what's good for you. It's not transported very far. It's not preserved to make it across the country. So when you eat in season, you're eating fresh local vegetables.
When you enter into a CSA or enter into this agreement to buy a farm share, make sure, it sounds like it's really important to make sure that it is a good professional farmer that's going to help you.
Yeah. It's always good to look at their past newsletters. A lot of farms have their newsletters online, and so you can look at the history of their newsletters and see what they're giving out or what sort of information they provide.
Jen, here's a good question for you. When you're looking for a CSA, how important is it for the farm to be organic certified?
Certified organic farms are audited by outside agencies. An inspector comes to our farm and makes sure that we're meeting government standards for organic.
So government sets the standards, outside agency comes in and audits to make sure that you are actually meeting those standards.
And what the standards are doing are setting the goal of having a healthy farm. We have healthy soil, nutrient-dense soil, so that if you think about you are what you eat, the vegetables are what they eat. So they need a healthy environment to grow so that you can have healthy vegetables to eat. And that's what a certified organic farm does.
So it's about keeping off of the soil and off of the plants chemicals that kill natural flora, that damage the soil.
You need biodiversity on a farm. And
meaning
a lot of different things living there. You have soil microbes, worms, insects, plants, animals. Everything can be healthy and alive on that farm, and it creates a living system.
Okay, so at an certified organic farm, you're going to get that living system, you're going to get the healthy soil, and a lot of studies indicate that you get higher nutrition in terms of they taste a lot. I think they taste better. I mean, everyone has to try them for themselves and see what they think. But so that's important to look for, you think? Okay, Jen, how much? This is the $1 million question. Maybe not quite a million, but how much does it cost to
Well,
have one of these farm shares?
With our CSA, it costs you $25 a week, and that $25 to $27 a week. And
$25 to $27 a week.
Who
Who doesn't
on the
spend
size
that
of
on?
your share.
Yeah, that okay.
And it's a deal, and I think the reason why it's such a good price is because what you're doing is giving money up front in the spring to a farmer, saying, here's money, I trust that you're going to be able to grow some produce for me, and that gives the farmer the cash flow that they need in the spring. And they can
To
go
buy
buy all of their
seeds
supplies.
okay.
And so as the summer goes along, as the growing season goes along, you get the fresh produce.
Now, your CSA, you like to bring people here. Some people might think that's inconvenient to come to the farm,
I think it could be.
but you do it for a reason. Why is that?
What's most important to me is that I get to know my customers and they get to know me as the farmer, and they get to know everybody who works on this farm. It's relating to somebody who grows your food, and it's not just a bag in a grocery store. It's somebody who works hard and grows good food. And it gives me the satisfaction of talking to my customers who are happy about the food they get. That's the reward that I get for what I work so hard to do. Another thing is that people need to get out into the country and be on a farm. They get to go see the chickens and the sheep and really be a little bit more in touch with what agriculture is.
And so many of us living in Cubeville, working every day 9 to 5 in a high-rise office building without a window could really benefit from that type of connection. So that's an extra that you offer, and it's worth the half-hour drive on a Saturday morning or a half-hour drive at the end of the day.
Some people look forward to that.
I would imagine
Yeah.
a lot of people look forward to coming here. It's a beautiful place in here. Jen, thanks so much for giving us all this information about CSAs, farm shares, organic farms, and how we as individuals who don't live on a farm and don't have a farm can actually connect with a farm and get a lot of our food throughout the year from a farm through a CSA or a farm share. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Jen has done an excellent job explaining the CSA and getting us all excited about actually having a CSA and living off of and eating off of a CSA. So the next question is, well, how do you do it? How much vegetables am I going to get? What kind of vegetables am I going to get? And is it something that I can do if I work or if I have kids? Well, fortunately, we have Karma Lamb here who has two boys.
Two boys.
Well, maybe three boys
Yeah.
because you're married. And you work.
I work.
And you have a house. And you live off of a CSA.
I do.
If you could explain to people what we have, that would be great.
Sure. This week we got beets, a variety of onions.
So there's both yellow onions and maybe a red heirloom
red
variety
onion.
of some sort, which you're not going to see that necessarily in the grocery store.
No, heirlooms in a grocery store I haven't come across.
Hard
Maybe
to
a couple
find.
tomatoes here and there. 'Cause
But from a
we're in-
CSA, that's an
Right.
advantage.
That's an advantage.
Now, you also have eggs here.
This farm has chickens, so she supplies eggs. She has a bread CSA come in, which you can make part of yours, or you can choose that week to grab a loaf of bread. It's there. Also the meat. She has fresh organic chicken available through her CSA as well, and cheese. There's a cheese CSA.
What else do we have here? So we've got
We
a
have,
couple different kinds of peppers.
Jalapenos, banana peppers.
It's just a few, not a ton.
It's just a few, yeah. Cabbage, straight up cabbage. We have a butternut squash, Tuscan kale, which is nice because you can eat Tuscan kale fresh or you can cook it. We have a nice variety of leaf lettuce. There's always a little, red leaf, dark leaf. The herbs, you always get some nice fresh herbs. This time we got dill, some sage.
Smells good.
It does smell good. It's
I
pretty.
just smell the sage too.
Yeah.
It smells wonderful. Oh, I lost a leaf. Okay.
Leeks, and the leeks from our local farms are nice because they're actually grown in dirt versus sand, so they're very easy to clean. They don't have all that sand stuck in there. And then garlic.
So a few
And
cloves
garlic you get all year. After they pick it and cure it, they'll give you a couple of bulbs all year long.
so they keep you supplied.
Yes. a
fresh
nice
herbs,
supply.
some zucchinis. So this is a reasonable representation of what you're going to get. How do you get all this stuff prepared so that you can use it for the week? What do you start with? What's the first step once you get it? We took it out of the box. It's here. What do we do?
The first thing I do is I try to eyeball it, like what can I cook and what do I have to eat fresh, raw, so to speak. So looking at this right now, I see that maybe I can pull some things away that I don't have to worry about today as soon as I bring it home, like my onions. I'll take these, are almost like dry goods. They store.
They keep.
They keep.
Okay.
You don't even necessarily have to refrigerate them. And then garlic. You know, you can toss your garlic
So garlic here too.
kind of
So
out
you're
of the pile.
you're separating out the items that are going to keep and
This
actually don't need to be refrigerated.
I don't refrigerate these
Excellent.
things. I don't. Secondly, I want to look and see at my greens. And I want to think, what greens can I cook and which ones can I not?
Now, why is that? Why is the greens something you want to focus on?
Because if I cannot cook something, it's going to break down. It's going to get rotten.
So
quicker.
greens don't last.
They do not last,
So
which is nice.
it sounds like the key is to get them into usable portions.
Yes, that's right. That's what we're doing. What we're doing is we're making, I like to think of it as manageable bundles. So that when I open my refrigerator during the week, I have all these little bundles of, I don't want to say fast food, but that's essentially what I'm doing, is taking whole foods and changing them into little bundles of fast food to eat throughout the week.
From this CSA share, you can get probably, it looks like you get maybe 3.
That's a family's, yeah. Right
This is a
there.
salad for the
Salad.
evening. So you're going to have 3 salads prepared in bowls in your refrigerator just by simply washing them, tearing them up, distributing them
here.
in the bowls, covering, what do you cover with a little plastic wrap of some
No,
sort?
they actually, these bowls come with a lid. Herbs are another thing you don't have to sweat. You don't have to use them right away. They last.
Nice to know.
Some people wrap them with a little paper towel and put them in a plastic bag in the fridge. Other people put them in a jar, like a mason jar,
Okay.
with water, with a little
and with
water.
the stem ends
With the
down.
stem, you know, maybe you want to trim them.
So what you're doing now is you're working with the more durable greens.
Yes, these will last.
Okay.
So then the beets, we trim the greens off, very superficially cleaned them up, and I just want to pop them in a little foil packet because I'm going to roast these guys. And I'm probably going to roast these beets at the same time I roast my chicken and my squash.
Okay.
So that's another way to conserve a little energy.
Put them all in, roast them at one time.
Roast them all at one time, and after you roast a vegetable, you can have these guys in your refrigerator all week.
So this chicken you're going to roast. Now you then, I think you explained that you take the meat off of the chicken
Yes,
and that becomes a convenience food throughout the week.
it does. You can eat it cold.
Anytime, you know, you
Anytime.
can open the refrigerator and there's chicken
There's
in there.
a bowl of chicken. you
Chicken
know,
salad.
Chicken
on a
salad,
salad.
anything.
Chicken,
The boys
yeah.
just like it on a plate, piece of bread, you know, carrot, you're good.
And
Little
that's it.
Fast food.
And then, what do you do with it after you take the meat off of the chicken? What do you do with the carcass?
I put the carcass in a stock pot,
Okay.
and I put it in the stock pot.
With your scraps
with
from
all-
the trimmings, from the vegetable trimmings, is that right? Okay.
So then I have a nice chicken stock that I will then use to make, say, my greens and beans, or just to make some simple chicken noodle soup for the boys during the week. Lots of
Karma,
things.
I feel much better. Thank you so much for the explanation of how you handle a CSA share and how you incorporate it into your life for your family.
Sure, my pleasure.
Now that we've got the farm share put away and situated for the week, Karma's going to show us how to make some meals from the farm share that can be done very quickly and very easily. So when you get home from work and the kids want attention, and you've got to make dinner, you still can do it, and you still can do it from a farm share. So the next dish Karma's going to make for us, and this is a quick weeknight meal, is simple greens and beans.
Simple greens and beans. And it's a great way to use all of these greens in one dish.
And we've got both beet greens and the Italian kale.
So all you want to do is use some of this great garlic from the farm.
So we got
Easy way
garlic
to
in our
peel it.
farm share, and we're going to use it.
Yep. Gonna break that down a little bit. The skins
Oh, that's
are coming
easy.
right off. Very
So
easy.
just cut the top and the bottom off,
and
the
then
skin
it
peels
kind of
right off.
pops off for you, yeah.
Now, and you're putting that in your stock pot.
Yes. These are the things that go into chicken stock.
Wonderful.
Onion skins. The skins actually give it a lot of flavor, and these are organic, so you can use them in there. When I do beans and greens, I like to just slice my garlic quickly. Onion, same thing. This is how I do mine. Put it right in
Scraps
there.
in the stock pot.
And the onion, I'm not really wasting it by cutting this way because I'm using it in my stock, but I just like to go like that. I don't need a whole big onion to make this. Put it in there, all done. Quick and easy. And then for this, I just do little half circles.
Look at that, it's like there's
All done.
nothing there.
Boop. All processed up. Here. Take this. And just put this in the pan. This is kind of unorthodox here, but. And while they're softening, we'll trim our kale up. Very quick way to trim this up. A lot of people eat these stems. It's fine to eat these stems. They soften up.
Now these are the beet greens.
These are the beet greens. You just
Okay.
kind of want to eyeball it. Again, it's fine to eat these. Sometimes I discard the ones that look a little tough or woody. Those look like that to me. So these guys you can roll up, a little pouch. You don't need to make real small pieces. You just want to be able to get it in the pot. So that's it. That's ready. Same thing with this. If you just kind of stack them up, I just kind of, this kale is really nice because you can eat the stem. Kind of wrap them up together. Just put the guy over there. And line them up. That's it. So you've got this great big bunch of kale from the farm. And you're going to use it all in one meal. It's going to cook down, be healthy.
So this really isn't taking long.
This
It's
does
just a
not
quick
take
chop.
long.
And while we're doing this, the onions are cooking over there and they're getting ready for the greens.
Yep. Once these soften up a little bit, I like to add some chicken broth.
And
That's-
that's chicken broth that you made
It's organic.
from the farm share, from the
Yes.
chicken.
And this is how you would store it in the fridge. These jars are kind of universal, good for everything. So turn this up a little bit, and we're just kind of flavoring this with our fresh garlic and onions. And we just want to get that to simmer. And we're going to add our beans. You can use any kind of bean that you have in the pantry. I like to use these organic cannellini beans. But I have used black beans, I've used red kidney beans, anything you want to use is fine. I drain them, and they're just gonna kind of all go in there and
Simple.
flavor the broth. You've got your protein from your beans. You're going to end up eating the liquid that cooks out of this kale. You know, you're not really losing anything. That's it. We are simmering here, so now it's safe to add our kale to our beans. So we just get all that in there. It's basically going to steam down. And
That's
let it
it.
cook down. Every once in a while you want to take the lid off and just kind of push it around.
A quick
And
stir.
that's it.
How long does it
That
take?
really is it. This will be done in less than 5 minutes.
Karma's beans and greens are finished, so we're going to unveil them and put them in the in a serving bowl here for you. Get them mixed up a little bit. Look, the color. See, one nice thing is that she hasn't overcooked them. The color's still in them, and there's juice. The scent is incredible. We're getting a wonderful scent of all the fresh vegetables, the garlic, and then you can smell the beet greens have given a little bit of a red tint to the sauce, which is kind of nice. It makes it a little bit more different. So there we go. So that
It's really pretty.
is your bowl of beans and greens.
Mm-hmm.
CSAs aren't just for the main course. You can also have a wonderful dessert. It looks like you're making a great apple dessert there. Tell us about this, Carmen.
This is an easy version of apple pie. All I did was clean up my apples from the CSA, peel them, core them, and cut them into uniform pieces. You toss them in a little lemon juice, a little sugar, and then you saute them up in a little butter.
So this is a quick way of having something pretty close to an apple pie, is what you're saying?
Yes, it's like a rustic apple tart.
Wonderful.
So you can serve this throughout the week. It'll stay nice in the fridge all week. Serve it with some ice cream, homemade whipped cream, a little cup of tea.
Karma's apples are soft and juicy and ready to go. Now we're going to make, no, you just gave me another hint. This
I did.
pie crust you made a week ago.
Yes, I did.
So you made a couple pie crusts and you put them in the refrigerator and
I
they
do.
last a week.
They do. They just little discs, slide them in,
On
just butter.
parchment
And then
paper.
I'm cheating again, and I'm using this parchment paper on my actual baking dish.
Oh,
Just
okay.
to keep it cleaner.
And to make it simple.
Simple to clean up. That's what we like. So I've got all my apples scooped in to this nice, easy pie crust. And all we're going to do
So you're just folding it.
is fold it up around the apples. Just kind of give them a little squeeze so they stay put. And that's it.
So do you just bake this for what?
You bake this for about 25 minutes, and that's it. And you've got
Wonderful.
nice dessert for a week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So based on what Karma's told us and Jen has told us today about how they handle a CSA, do you believe it's something that you can do in your home? If so, go to foodforlife.tv. Let me know whether or not you think, as a result of hearing these things today, that you might be interested in moving into a CSA or a farm share. Also, I'm sure you'd like to know if you learned something here, so click on Contact at foodforlife.tv, put the answers to the CSA show questions in the contact field, click Send, and I'll reply with a PDF with all the recipes for everything we made today, plus some additional resources to help you identify where you can buy foods from a CSA in your area. I'm David Allender, and this is David Allender's Food for Life.